class, so I told you guys I would do a few of these extra practice problems for you. I'm choosing to do on page 40, the one that says balancing chemical equations. I'm choosing to do number 9 for you guys for 2 reasons. One, it's really hard. I've already worked through doing this video a few times. I'm like, oh, this is so hard. So it's a really hard one, so I thought it would be fun to do together. And then also, because they did a misprint on it, and they put L or 1O2 instead of carbon dioxide, CO2. So I want you guys to change that on number 9, page 40, it's CO2. All right, so to make this video a little faster, I've already come up with how many reactants I have. I have 8 carbons, 18 hydrogens, 2 oxygens. We talked through very carefully about how to count those. And on our product side, we have 1 carbon, 2 hydrogens, and 3 oxygens. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm looking at this. I'm going to see what's my easiest thing to, my easiest element to change out, right? So if I'm looking at my carbons, I've got 8 on this side, I've got 1 on this side, right? So I'm going to put an 8 here. Because that seems like the easiest one so far, right? So that gives me 8 carbons, but it also changes my number of oxygens. So it's 16, 17 now oxygens. Okay, double checking that. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 1 is 17. Okay, next thing is my hydrogens. I've got 18 over here, and I've only got 2 over here. So I'm gonna maybe do, if I multiply this 2, because there's only this one right here, right? If I multiply that by 9, then that'll give me 18. So now I have 18 hydrogens, right? I've got 8 right there. So but that also changes my number of oxygens, right? So I've got 9 oxygens, 8 times 2 is 16, 16 plus 9 is 25. So now I have 25 oxygens. Okay, so this is my only oxygen, right? And technically I will never get, because there's only 2 of them, right? It's a diatomic, and 25 is not divisible by 2. So I'm never going to find a number to put here that is going to equal that. So what I'm going to have to do is double. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to use it, almost both of these as my factors, right? So I'm going to do 25 here, right? Because that's the only way for me to even them out somehow, right? So that's going to give me 50 oxygens over here, right? So do you guys understand that? There's 2 of them, right? And I'm never going to come up with a happy solution, I don't think. And I'm going to just work through this a little bit and see if it still works. Because I don't know if even that's going to work. Let's see, so if I have 25, so now I have 50 oxygens, I have to double this side, right? What's the best way to do this? So these are both, let's see, if I do, so really I just need to double my oxygens. Let's see here. If I have, so I need to double my oxygen. So guys, I'm just going to double both of these then and see how that plays out. So this was 8, so I'm going to put 16. And this was 9, I'm going to put 18, I think. Was that right? So I'm going to double both of those and see how that plays out. So now I've got 16 times 2 is 32 oxygens here. And then I've got 18. So 18 plus 32 is 50. All right, so I've got my 50 oxygens, okay? But then that also affected my hydrogens and my carbons. Okay, so now I've got 16 carbons. And how many hydrogens do I have? 18 times 2 is 36. So 18 is half of 36, 8 is half of 16. So if I put a 2 here, that's going to give me 16 of those carbons, and then 2 times 18 is 36. And it's evened out. Okay, guys. You will never have any that difficult on the test, clearly, right? But so that's one of the reasons why I did this one on the board, so you can have it as a bonus point. If you guys watch these videos, you will definitely get this one. It took me a lot of efforts to do it, so like the first time. So I know that it was tricky, and if you're a numbers person, it might be kind of fun. All right, so the next one I'm going to do is going to be much easier, and it's going to be number 14. So page 40. Number 14. All right, so let's see here. This one is 8 sulfurs. Can I see it on the board? Yeah. 8 sulfurs plus diatomic oxygen yields SO3. All right, guys, so this one is also a combustion reaction, and it's also a synthesis reaction because you're taking 2 things and you're making 1. And it's also using oxygen, so that's what makes it a combustion. So on my reactant side, I have sulfur. I've got 8 of them. On my product side, I have 1. On my reactants, oxygen, I have 2 of them. Then over here, I have 3. All right. So an easy thing to start off with, sulfur. I can only do one thing over here. I can put an 8 here, right? And so that gives me 8 sulfurs. And then 8 times 3, I now have 24 oxygens. So then how am I going to get this 2 to 24? I'm going to put a 12 here. And then now I have 24 oxygens. And I'm balanced. 8 sulfurs and 24 oxygens. All right, guys, so those are the 2 examples that we're going to do for balancing equations on page 40.